All right. Welcome to this episode of Monetizing Your Mental Capital. I'm your host, Will Christensen, and I am super excited. I have Geni Ramos here, and she's actually from Spain here at TNC. Geni, what do you do? Who are you with?
Hi, I'm Geni. Yeah, I'm based in Barcelona, actually, north of Barcelona. I'm a marketing consultant, digital business consultant for the Spanish speaking market, not only in Spain, but also in Latin America and Spanish businesses based in the US.
Beautiful. And we met last night. I'm carrying around this really awesome backpack that has like LED lights on it, and it's been pretty fun because it like I can actually flash messages around it and stuff. And I've met so many cool people because of the backpack. That's like it's paid for itself because of that. So we met last night, and she was like, "Oh, cool backpack," and I was like, "You should be on the podcast." So Geni, the first one, I'm gonna kind of send you back here with this first question. What was the first time you remember monetizing mental capital? And so what I mean by that is, what was the first time that you early on either did a lemonade stand or got paid to do consulting? Anything coming to mind?
Well, I remember a lot of the times where I didn't get paid to give a consulting session, no, for a client. So at one point I was fed up and I said, stop, I cannot have these calls all the time. Give them loads of value and ways of how to attend clients and how to get more money in their business. And basically, yeah, at one point I remember like in January 2016 or something like that, that I said, okay, that's enough. I need to start charging for this. And yeah, I decided to charge $14 an hour.
So, man, how did you get to a place where people were just asking you to come in and, not have like how are they finding you and being like, "Hey, can you help me?" And, "Oh yeah, you'll do it for free." How did that happen?
So I was working in the United Kingdom for a small agency, and I was stuck in a train for 3 hours every day, 1 hour and a half going to the office, 1 hour and a half going back. And I said, well, I need to do something. And I'm a very productive person, and I didn't want to just look at a TV show. Well, I did that for a few months. And then I said, well, I want to do something for the market. And I started writing articles for my blog and starting creating little YouTube videos, which now I look at them and I'm so embarrassed about them, but it's okay. I started doing things. And these people just find me on the internet. A very small amount of people in the Spanish market were starting doing, things that they saw in a Russell Brunson book, or they were following Ryan Dice or this Tony Robbins thing, whatever. And yeah, they found me there.
Beautiful. So they reached out and you were like, "Yeah, I'll totally help you." Initially it was free, and then you were like, "Hold on, this is mental capital I need to actually put out there." So I love that what you did, you started with content nuggets. You were just leaving tidbits. And what sort of stuff? I mean, did you feel like you were an expert content marketer at that point, or what were you putting out there?
I was helping people to understand how to use software, online tools, because there's a big bridge. Most of the tools are American based and they're in English, and there's not a lot of tools in Spanish. So what I was doing is showing, like in a little Loom video, how the tool works, like a little demo, showing them where the menu is, how they can use it, functionalities, little hacks. So yeah, I was doing like 5 to 10 minute videos and just putting them out there.
And you were doing that on the train. So there's probably like train noise in the background, but I mean, it worked.
Yeah, well, in the train, normally I was writing the articles. And then back home during my weekends, I was doing the small videos. And I remember, like, just imagine a girl that is like 24 years old, like sitting on the floor in the only white spot in the house, trying to make things professional. And it was not professional, but it was okay.
I mean, it was good enough that you got some clients out of it and it turned into something. I love that. Okay. So if you could make a phone call back to this person, who was the one who was just watching the videos, we're going to make a phone call back to her. If you could make a phone call back to her, what would you tell her to do differently than what you've done already today?
I think that one of the things that I really struggled with is growing, no? Like believing that I could grow even more. And now I'm more confident about that. But back then, I thought that what I was doing was normal, no? And I was one more in the market. And there was many of other Genis out there doing something similar. But now I look back in the days, like what I was doing, it's like I was an early adopter in the digital market. No, it's like no one else was doing this. And that's why people were Googling and were finding my articles and were finding my videos. And nowadays, those clients back then are big players in the Spanish market. Now they have like big businesses turning over $1 million a year. And I'm so proud of them. And if I had that goal, I would say, hey, you can, get things working, growing, and approach more clients and do things in a big way, and it's going to be okay.
I love it. All right. So our final question for the podcast for these micro episodes is this. Do you have any tips, tricks, hacks, or books that you've come across in the last year that and it could be one of those tools that you mentioned. You're like, oh my gosh, if you have not tried you mentioned Loom, love Loom. For anybody listening, if you haven't tried Loom yet, go get your paid subscription. The sucker is amazing on your phone, wherever. Just the ability to record and communicate is amazing. So any other tips, tricks, hacks, or tools that you've come across in the last year that have been powerful in your business?
So I'm a marketing consultant or a business consultant specialized in automation and online tools, okay? So I'm going to say something that is completely opposite to all of this. Keep it simple. I think that in the last years, many people are saying, yeah, put all these tools together and let's make a spaceship of, all this automation thing. And I have to say that after of 8 years being in the market, and it doesn't matter because I work with American-based companies and I understand really good the market. Doesn't matter where you are in the world. Like, just keep things simple. A lot of times we spend too many time in systems and small amount of time in the vision of the company or the growth or getting more clients on board. And, the systems are just like things that have to be there. So don't make them complex. Just make them be there, working, functional, and, spend more time on the vision, on the growth of the business instead of being around with thousands of tools out there that consume a lot of time.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you one question. And I know, so I've done the automation, like I ran a digital agency where all we did was automation. So I know this question is going to be freaking hard to answer. But the question I want to ask you is this. If I were just getting started in the services space, let's say that I ran an e-commerce business and now I've shifted and I'm going to do some service to kind of diversify what's going on. And I'm looking for like some basic CRM, some basic other tools. What tools would you recommend you start out with to keep it simple?
So to keep it simple, I would think from a strategic point of view, how to get visitors into leads and leads to clients. One of the big errors I know is that they try to get visitors to be clients in 2 minutes. You can try, that's good. But let's try to be really creative on how we get people to convert visitors into leads. And normally that works really good with a community vision. Why the brand? It's a community and why you need to be part of this community and not another community. So I'll throw that idea out there for e-commerce because that works really good. And then to get them to buy the first product, what we are doing that's working really good is like packetizing the product. So they don't need to think what they need to buy. They just have an opportunity. It's a birthday of my dad, or it's Valentine's Day, or it's whatever, and you don't need to think about it. We thought what's the perfect present for that. So yeah, that's another idea. And then in the sense of systems, for me, in the e-commerce market, Shopify, it's a really good option out there because it's, one system for everything.
What about for services? So let's say that I was an e-commerce guy and I was switching to service. My e-commerce brand's working, and now I'm going to branch out and I'm going to do some services. What would you recommend for CRM or for an email? Some of those basic tools.
So I have 2 big players in the market at the moment. ActiveCampaign, it's a really cheap option that works. It doesn't work for over 10,000 contacts in the database. So be careful if you're growing in ActiveCampaign, just to make sure that, the system it's performing for what you're going to pay for. And then the former Infusionsoft software that is Keep, I've been a partner of there for a long time now. They have this new version, which is really cool. They allow you to schedule calls, to have a little pipeline. And I would try, I think one of the biggest issues with businesses is that they pay for the tool, but they don't use the tool. So we need to get into the habit of using the tool. So I prefer just using one tool, but use it instead of paying for 5 and don't use any of the 5. So something like a all-in-one solution like Keep, I think it's a really good option. I have to say that here in TNC, there's a really cool software called One Page, and there's a freemium version of it. And yeah, I can send you over the link and we can add it. But it has a little CRM, little email, little website, simple.
I love it. You heard it there. Keep it simple. Thank you so much for joining us on this micro episode of Monetizing Your Mental Capital.
Thank you, Will. It's been a pleasure.